Hey there, it's Jenny, and I am here today to share with you how I'm going to plan this week in my Classic Happy Planner. If you'll recall, I am using a 2019-2020 Happy Planner that I had, and I am redating it. I am so excited about this because it allows me to use an older Happy Planner with the heavier weight paper, so I don't have any bleeding or ghosting, and I'm still able to use my beloved Happy Planner layout, so it's working out great for me. I'm going to share with you a bunch of stamping this week. So these are a few of the stamps that I'm considering using in the layout. I'm never really sure how it's going to go until I actually do it. So I have a handful set aside. I do know, however, that I'm going to use this Pretty Pink Posh set. You can see I'm pulling off that little, or showing you that little post-it note. That is something that we call a mask. So I can set that down over a stamped area, and I'll show you that in a little bit. I'm going to remove the pages because that's always best when stamping. It helps me get the best impressions. And I'm laying it down on the top of my desk so that I can get even firm pressure when I'm stamping and give the best clear image possible. I'm going to use this large post-it note also for masking off the edge of my paper so that I don't get the stamped image there. I want to have this flower stamped right up against the edge of the top, but I don't want it to cover the dates or the days. I'm using my black VersaFine ink. It's my favorite. It gives the best impression, and it just generally makes stamping really easy. I'm pressing it down, giving it even firm coverage, and it looks great. Now I'm going to put that mask on top of it so that I can overlap the stamps. So see, now I'm going to stamp again, and that stamp is covering the other stamped area. You see that right there? And so then now when I pull that off, voila, we do not have mess of the stamps overlapping each other with those lines. They look like they're meant to be like that. So I'm going to do the mask with the large sticky note down at the bottom again, just so that I don't get it on the edge. I want to have the flower right flush with the edge, but not go over it. And the sticky notes are really genuinely the best way to do this. I sometimes use washi tape to do the same thing. It really sort of just depends on my mood. However, the sticky note is probably the easiest method. Just doing the exact same thing over here, creating a visual triangle out of the three stamped areas. So you can see right there that I could draw the line in between the three stamped areas to create a triangle. Now I'm going to use the Princess sticker book this week, and I just for some reason was really wanting to use the Snow White ones. I'm not really sure why, it just was kind of calling out to me. My favorite ones are the Tiana ones, but I don't have that many of those left, so I'm having to sort of save the rest of those. But the Snow White ones, I'm just looking through for the colors that are used on the stickers. Now I'm going to use my Color Splash colored pencils. They're actually not colored pencils, they're watercolor pencils. So when you color with them, they look like they'd be water or just colored pencils, but when you activate them with a little bit of water, you then get a watercolored look. I'm going to sharpen the edge of my pencil just so I can get going, and I am going to just color in. Now this, I'm using just a nice normal amount of pressure. I'm not going overly light, and I'm not going overly dark either. I will go back in and add this navy blue and go a little bit heavier than normal. Just, I want to create some shading on this flower. And so having both the light and the dark together will help me give that shading. If you look at something in nature, it's really very normal. Now I'm using these Stampin' Up! Blender pens. I've genuinely had these probably for 15 years. I'm not even joking. I've had them forever. And I could use a regular paintbrush or a water brush. That's often very common. But the thing I like about these blender brushes is that they are damp enough to activate the watercolor pencils, but they don't make my paper warped. So I do like to use those when I'm using the watercolors directly on the page, if that makes sense. If I'm doing it on a sticker or on a heavier weight paper, I really don't mind using a watercolor brush, but on this planner paper, I don't want it to warp. So using the blender brushes is the best. Now I'm doing the exact same thing at the top that I did with the block at the bottom. I'm starting with a lighter yellow and then coming back in and highlighting or actually creating some shadows, if you want to know the truth, with the darker yellow, just so when you look at it up close, it's a varied shades. And now on this third one, I'm actually coloring really lightly. I'm using a very light hand, and I'll still come back in with the darker pencil. However, I just want to give this flower a little bit lighter of a blue color than the other one, hence why I'm using the lighter hand. I also shaded in some darker areas by pressing harder, so I was able to give a little bit more pigmentation to the flower. And it's just really fun. I really think this is such a fun way to get creative in my planner, and I really have a good time. So look at that. You can see how there's varied colors and there's shadowing, and I'm not an expert by this in any stretch of the imagination, and honestly, I really don't want to be. If I wanted to be, I would practice and watch videos and things like that, read about it, but I really am just comfortable with this level of it. It's enough for me to be able to create lovely images in my planners and my other projects without having to devote a lot of time to this hobby, as that's not where I'm at right now. Now I'm going to accent each of the stamped areas with a Snow White sticker. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited about that one, FYI. And just using text on one of them. I don't love to go crazy with all of the overwhelming text on a week. And so this way it's at the point of the triangle and it all works out really well. So we've got the 2 Snow Whites, and then we've got the little text at the top, which is beautiful. And it has a lot of gold foil right there as well. And so I'm going to play off that with my box stickers this week by using some of the gold ones, since it'll match perfectly with that phrase sticker. Now I use the lines in the columns as suggestions. They're not hard and fast rules. They are just simply, I use them to notate where, you know, the idea is for Monday and the idea is for Tuesday, but I love to overlap a little bit. I think that it looks the best. Now, this stamp set from Everyday Explorers has a fantastic box in it that's perfect for adding activities. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to take this brush stroke stamp, and I'm going to use my Gold Brilliance ink. It really has a beautiful shine and shimmer to it. And I'm going to put down the brush stroke first and overlap that line. See that right there? Really, it's beautiful. The camera can't quite pick up how pretty it is, but it's really very lovely in real life. And then over the top of it, I'm going to stamp this box. Later down the road, I will also write my activity in this box as well once the inks are dry. And truth be told, they dry right away, so it's really not an issue. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes. So look at that. It doesn't look great right this second, but when we're all finished at the end of the week, it's going to pull everything together so wonderfully. So definitely you don't have to be afraid of layering stamps. It's definitely a thing, and I've shown you 2 different ways to layer stamps in this one video so far. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing down at the bottom box on Thursday, and I'm going to try to show you that shimmer. It's so hard to pick up on the camera, but it's beautiful. And I'm going to layer the box over top of it once again. I love it. It's just giving it a little bit of extra something and making it really fun and really special. I love that markup stamp set by Everyday Explorers as well. So now I'm going to go through and add my boxes for the activities that I already know that I have throughout the week, and just sort of place them again off center, not right directly in between the lines, and then trying to kind of alternate a little bit. So like, for example, I'm not placing it right next to each other. I'm leaving a little bit of room. I do like to alternate the things I write throughout the week, so I try to be mindful at the beginning of the week of how I can make that happen. Now this super cute stamp set is all about March, and there's a stamp that says springtime, and so I thought I would add that on Saturday, since that is the weekend is the beginning of spring. Hooray! I don't know if any of the rest of you are as excited as I am, but I am really looking forward to summer. So stamping just even, firm pressure, not rocking the stamp at all. And again, using the VersaFine is really such a key. It makes such a huge difference and really makes the stamping better. Now I'm going to use this teeny tiny little stamp that's also in the same Everyday Explorer stamp set just to create some, it's I don't know how to explain it, but it looks like little magical sparkles. And so I felt like that was pretty perfect for this week. So I'm going to just put them right around Snow White and use the Gold Brilliance ink again. So that's why you're having a hard time seeing it, because it doesn't show up great and it's pretty light anyway. But it looks so cute on the page and just really makes it have a magical feel. So we're finishing up adding the activities, and then I will go through and write all of the plans. I know that a lot of people don't do this at the beginning of the week or don't share that on camera as they're part of their before the pen. But for me, it's really sort of the cornerstone of my planning is having all of the activities actually in my planner. And so it's a must for me. I absolutely have to do it. Otherwise, I definitely would not be where I need to be each week. So I go ahead and I add those right there. I'm using back to using the Papermate Flare pen. I go back between that and the Sarasa Gel, or Sarasa Dry, I'm sorry. But I really am enjoying the Flare again because it's been a little bit since I've used it, so I might as well. As you can see right there, I clearly forgot to fill in a box, but that's all right. I'll get to it. And I'm just going to add some of this washi. I've had it for a long time and I've never really managed to use it. It's black and it's got gold foil flower, like a floral pattern on it. And it's so pretty, but I just never seem to get around to using it. And this seems like the perfect week. I'm going to try it here, but I don't end up liking it.